Hey everybody, welcome back to the Time Pass podcast. This is your host, Ashika. Thank you so much for joining me today, you guys. If you haven't done so already, please like me on Facebook, follow me on Instagram, TikTok, everywhere on the social media. YouTube, you can like, follow, and subscribe to the Time Pass podcast YouTube channel. And if you are an auditory listener, wherever you are tuning into the Time Pass podcast, please make sure that you are followed, or subscribed. You can also tune in to the Time Pass podcast on Ruckus Avenue Radio on Sundays. All right, you guys. I did not have a new episode for you guys last week, and I apologize, but we kind of had a first ever family reunion that my mom hosted, and so I was super tied up with that and busy with that, and y'all, the amount of late nights and boozy nights and alcohol consumption and trying to get everything done and going places was just insane. And for my own mental health and peace of mind, I needed to just not do anything last Sunday. And I actually ended up working a little, but I was just not in a place where we still had family in town, and I just couldn't find the time. So I had to take last weekend off. I apologize, but I'm glad I did, because it really inspired me for this week's show. Now, what's the one thing that you have heard me, Time Passers, saying all through season 3? Besides stay authentic, because we know I always say that. But I've said that through all 3 seasons. I'm busy. I say that so much, especially now in season 3, and I'm not proud of how busy I am. It's just a fact. But what it does is it really makes me pick and choose where I spend my free time. And so for me, time is the most expensive currency that I have. Once you spend it, you can't get it back. You only have a limited amount of it, yet that limited amount is unknown. So you don't know how much time you actually have. And you can't make more of it. You have a limited amount, and once you spend it, you can't get it back. And once it's gone, it's gone. It's gone. There's no, So I view time as a lot. I think I put a lot of importance on the amount of time people give me and the amount of time that I give people. And so having my family in town, obviously, family is really important to me. I've always been super family oriented, and I've always been really tight with my mom's side of the family in particular. So I had no qualms about rearranging my schedule. Did I want to rearrange my schedule? No. Did I do it because I thought that the value was there? Yes. And I didn't think twice about it. Unfortunately, spending this time with my family, and I had great time with most of them, but what it brought up for me was toxic mindsets of South Asians. So if you're South Asian, you're probably going to relate to this episode a little bit. If you're not, you still may relate to it, because I know this happens in other cultures as well. But there are some specific toxic South Asian mindsets that have been perpetuated through the generations that now I feel like there are young adults and children in this newer generation that is challenging that mindset, myself included, you know, and it's helping us break some of those unhealthy and toxic mindsets. But it's not easy, especially when some of your family members have been raised to believe this and to think that they're right. And I would say one of the most toxic mindsets is that I'm your parent, or I'm older than you and I know better, and you should just blindly listen to everything I say. Now, my parents, bless their hearts, as much as maybe, I think my mom maybe has this ideal a little bit, or she did, she understands that her children are individuals. Now, when it comes to my brothers, who are very different, right? So I'm the talkative one, my brother's the quiet one. So when it comes to my brother, he isn't as vocal as I am. Even if he thinks somebody's doing something that they shouldn't be doing, he will keep it to himself. He may talk to me about it later, but he's not gonna be like, hey, that's probably not a good idea. Now me, I can't turn a blind eye to that stuff. Like if I think that somebody's doing something that they shouldn't be doing, or that I feel is inherently wrong, I'm going to speak up on it. And so conversations in our house are always, I think my mom, you know, since my mom primarily raised us, she created a really safe space as we got older. I think when we were younger, it wasn't really there, but I think it takes a lot of bumping heads sometimes before somebody who has a very set mindset can start to think like, oh, maybe what they're saying is right, or not even right, but like, let me think about it that way. And so because I have always been this vocal person to challenge the norms, want to know the whys behind things, and if something just doesn't make sense, I'm gonna tell you that it doesn't make sense, and I'll say it respectfully, but I will tell you that it doesn't make sense. And that's just part of who I am. You know, I want, if I was doing something wrong, I would hope that somebody would tell me. And regardless if the person's older than me or younger than me, or a parent or an aunt or an uncle or a family member, I would hope that you would tell me. And if you were doing something wrong and I genuinely care about you, I'm gonna find a way to tell you. But so part of that is just, I don't know where I was going with this, but so my family, my parents are used to kind of the push and pull of conversation with me, at least. And, you know, it's debates, I would say debates in our household, conversations in our household are very passionate. They can get heated, and then 10 minutes later, we're all sitting together. Like, that's the thing. I think as a family, we tend to respect each other's opinion. And sometimes I think we realize that somebody may feel strongly about something. You may disagree. Let them speak on it. And once it's spoken about, you can still disagree about it, but it relieves some tension and stress. So my family is pretty darn trying to break out of these cycles, these toxic mindsets, I feel. And it hasn't been easy. And have I been the catalyst in that situation? You're damn right I have. It's just who I am. I'm sorry. I can't look the other way if I feel something is inherently wrong. It's my nature. That's not going anywhere. So part of that, you know, listen to your parents, whatever they do, there's a lot of trust involved in that, because the idea is that your parents know better than you, your life decisions, who you're going to marry, what occupation you're going to have, what school you're going to go to, where you're going to live, who you're going to live with, how many kids you're going to have. All of that back in the day was like, you listen to your parents and you did whatever the hell they said. You had no free choice in the matter. That's why, like, the old school arranged marriages started. It was the parents who got together. Hey, I got a son. Hey, I got a daughter. let's get them married, and you wouldn't even meet until the day of the wedding. That's how this all started. It was that blind faith of trusting your parents, and the idea was your parents know best. The reality is parents are human beings just like us, and they make mistakes. I'm a parent now. I'm a parent. I make mistakes all the time. Like, all the time. I'm not perfect. I hope I'm doing a good job, but I'm not perfect, and I realize that. And I've apologized to my kid before. Like, she's 8, and if I've said something out of turn, or she's very independent and very vocal. I feel like I've tried to create a safe space for her. So she will tell me, like, Mom, you said this and it hurt my feelings. And I'll apologize, because I think it's very important for her to know that her feelings are valid, and for her to also know that Mom's not always right. Mom doesn't always have all the answers. Like, I may have an opinion, but I don't always have all the answers. I think it's so important for kids, adults, everyone to have independent thinking, to be able to solve their own problems. You're trying to create the leaders of the next generation. They have to be able to think independently. And so, yes, like, I have apologized to my child, but the thought that your parents could do no wrong is not true. And there was a situation that occurred over the weekend where a family member felt very strongly that I should listen to what they were saying. And actually, I don't want to say that we got into an argument, but this person was very vocal about it and nasty and rude to me in my mom's house. And it's so odd, because I think a few years ago, like, I've talked about it this season a little bit about my temper, how I have a temper, but I try really hard to keep it in check, because I know what it's like when I go off, and it's not pretty. And usually I end up apologizing for things I say, because I say things out of anger that I don't mean, unfortunately. So that is why I keep such a good grasp on my temper and my emotions in these sorts of situations. And so as this family member was, trying to get me to do what they wanted, there was manipulation, there was bullying, there was rudeness, crassness, insinuations, things that really, looking back on my weekend this past week, they really affected me. I had a rough 2 days afterwards thinking about the situation. And the one of the principles that this family member kept shooting off at me was like, oh yeah, well, I'm no one, right? Like, you don't have to listen to me. I'm not like, oh, I see how much you value me. But it was kind of like that, hey, I'm your elder. Why are you not listening to me? Why are you not giving me the respect that I want? Like, how dare you say no to me? And it's like, what you're asking me to do is inherently wrong. What you are trying to guilt me into doing for you, I'm not gonna do. And so I was really proud of myself. I started on this because I feel like a few years ago, it was easier to get under my skin, and it was easier for me to let my, temper go and have, argue with someone. But I was so proud. I was so proud of myself because I remained calm through that whole ordeal. And I think I felt sorry for this person because I understand that whatever emotions that they are trying to manipulate or use towards me is because they have a bigger issue going on with themselves. It actually has nothing to do with me. And to be able for me, it was a kind of a surreal experience for me because as I'm sitting there listening to this diarrhea of the mouth from the other person, I'm almost watching the situation in the third party and just kind of like, where is this coming from? what is going, I was more concerned about that person. Like, what is going on with this person? Like, something's wrong. Like, something's wrong. And I was able to just walk away. And in a nice way, you know, I was able to say goodbye and goodnight to everyone after eating dinner and just leave. I have that luxury as an adult. And I think that is a really hard situation. It's almost a little bit of like auntie culture, which I hate saying because not all aunties are auntie culture. But it's that manipulation and commenting. And this person was just so rude to me the entire weekend. Like, from the moment I saw them, there wasn't a day that this person was not rude to me. And it's funny because I felt bad for other family members, and I guess I never put it in perspective, but I have had another cousin of mine actually approach me about a similar situation with a different family member and say like, oh my God, this person was so rude to me. And my cousin was really hung up on this situation and the comments from this family member that had been directed at her. And as I was thinking about this and unpackaging it after it all happened, I felt bad because, like I just shared with you guys, it took me 2 days to kind of dissect all that and come to terms with it. And, you know, okay, I'm good. But there are some people that are more sensitive than I am, or that are more vulnerable than I am or appear to be. And I now realize why my cousin still talks about this other moment that she had with a different family member, because some of the comments are rude and they can be like degrading, or they can be like really make you feel bad about yourself. Like, I'll share just one with you. Okay, so Sunday I went over there and I, you know, like I said, I was just like in recovery mode, so I was home and I was doing a little work and whatever, and I walked in and I didn't have a stitch of makeup on because I'm home, right? I'm not gonna do my makeup to sit at home. I love wearing makeup. I love looking my best. However, when I'm home, I love just being like fresh faced and let my skincare really seep in without, you know, putting makeup on over it. And I remember I went over there and this family member was like, why do you look like that? And it's funny now to me, but I literally was like, the audacity that some people have to comment on shit that they shouldn't comment on. I literally turned to this person and I was like, because I'm not wearing makeup. This is what I look like without makeup. That's probably as like loud or direct as I got with this person the entire time. Because I still, like, I just wanted everybody to have a good time, and I can handle, there's no reason to create drama. And I hate drama. You may call it non-confrontational, whatever you want to call it. Yeah, I'm non-confrontational. You know why else? I don't want, like, this person isn't going to change. Me talking to them isn't going to change. And this person was looking for a fight, was looking for a reaction from me, is what I pieced together that night when I said I was kind of observing the situation in the third party. Is like, the minute this person arrived, it was rude comment, arguing with everybody else. Like, I think this person got into some sort of altercation, verbal altercation with someone almost every night. And it was just like, I'm not gonna give this person what they want. And I removed myself from the situation. And I just don't think that there's no sense in it. But afterwards, I was talking about this, and I just kind of, you know, there's this toxic mentality that, like, it doesn't matter what I do as your elder or your parent, you will show me respect and you will listen to me. I am a grown-ass woman, an independent grown-ass woman who runs her own household and has her own child and her own business and then works and then volunteers. I am not going to listen to what you have to say blindly, and I am not going to fold under your pressure. Also, I believe I deserve a little bit of human decency and respect. And so I ended up feeling like my weekend was a waste. But I think right away afterwards, I felt really mad, and not about the disrespect, not about, you know, this person trying to manipulate me or make me feel bad or guilt me into like just, I've never been in a situation where I have clearly like been able to identify this person is manipulating me and guilt tripping me and bullying me and trying to get me to do this thing. And for me to so clearly see it, you know, was really surreal. But I was really upset, and I think I still am, about my time. If I would have known that my efforts weren't going to be appreciated, or that, you know, this person was going to be so like rude and disrespectful to me, I would not have rearranged my whole weekend to spend time with these people. And again, it wasn't everybody, it was one particular person, but I don't like that. I don't like putting myself in situations where there's someone there who's going to make me feel uncomfortable. I don't do that. Like, I've had a falling out with a friend who is still good friends with our friend group, mutual friends, and in the beginning, these mutual friends would invite me out and I would go. I even went on vacation where I knew this other friend who I had fell out with was going to be on this vacation. And it made my vacation and my time so awkward that I started declining those invitations. Because I have limited amount of time. The last thing that I want to do is, when I'm spending quality time that I have with people, I don't want to be worried about drama or made to feel uncomfortable. That's not how I choose to spend the time that I have. Sorry. Like I said, I value my time a lot, and it's everything from rearranging a weekend to sending a text message or something like that. Like, there's no excuse for somebody to be rude. And rudeness is such a sticking point for me. Like, if I text you and you don't text back, rude. If I like spend time with you and then you're gonna turn around and talk shit to me, rude. If the first words out of your mouth is a comment about how I look, rude. And it's not a nice one. It's like, don't you know the golden rule? If you don't have something nice to say, don't fucking say it. So, I don't know. It was odd, and I just felt bad for people who, other family members and other South Asians and maybe other cultures also out there that have to deal with this situation where you feel like you can't speak up for yourself. Now, like I said, I didn't want any drama. I didn't want to argue, and I realized that whatever this person was trying to bait me into doing, I wasn't gonna, not gonna take the bait. So I removed myself from the situation. There are other people who aren't as assertive as I am, and maybe would not have left the room, and maybe would not have kept quiet. Maybe they would be more volatile, or maybe they would just sit there and take it and listen. And sometimes people can end up believing things that are said about them that are rude or set in bad context. And I started feeling bad about this. Like, I wish that we could break out of these toxic mindsets, and the only way to do it, unfortunately, is to have difficult conversations. Now, for me, this particular family member, I don't care. They don't live here. I don't need to see them. I don't need to interact with them. And that's where that person is now on my list of priorities, is non-existent. I don't want to waste any more energy there. and I see no need to. However, not everybody's like that, and I think it's really hard to break out of these toxic mindsets that South Asians have created. And there's a lot of them, there's, the parents are always right, listen blindly. There's the work-life balance. Like the South Asian mindset is the harder you work, the better it is. Like there's no such thing as like a work-life balance. And like, yes, I work hard. Yes, I spend a lot of time. I work 6 days a week. But I'm really particular about my free time and balancing it out. And I take vacations. Like I try to balance it out on my own. So, I don't really perpetuate that. But I know there are a lot of people, South Asians, that still do. Where you're going to live, after you get married or whatever it is, or before you get married. Like you're not allowed to have friends of the opposite sex, or like be in a room with somebody of the opposite sex with the door closed. Like these are all very toxic mindsets that there really is no way to break out of unless you're having these difficult conversations, which can lead into arguments at some point in time. And so for me, I think time and toxicity, I just ended up feeling like I wasted my time over the weekend, which I don't enjoy. And I find that I'm getting more and more upset about when I waste my time. I recently had a friend reach out to me who I haven't heard from in a while. And they wanted to hang out. And I was like, okay. So we set up a date and time to hang out. And I was really dreading it and considering canceling because I just didn't feel like it came out of left field a little bit. And I'm all about reconnecting with people. I have no falling out with this person. I do consider them a friend. However, I just knew that there was some sort of ulterior motive in my head. And I really thought about it. But then I was like, I'm going to give this person the benefit of the doubt. And, I'm going to make those plans and I'm going to go do those plans. It's fine. I'm not going to back out. But if I have to think that hard about what your intentions are, I just realize that I don't want it. I just don't. I don't want to be a part of that anymore. I have limited time. We all have limited time. Like I said, it's a precious, limited resource, and we don't know how much of it we have. If I am spending any kind of time on you, whether it be a text, a phone call, an afternoon, an evening, a morning, whatever it is, I expect that to be quality time, and I expect it to be appreciated. I expect my time to be respected and reciprocated. And if I'm not getting that from you, you're not getting any more of my time. Plain and simple. And I think a lot of the disconnect between the older South Asian generation and my generation and the younger generation is just that. These toxic mindsets that they have, and then they wonder why their kids have secret lives, or they wonder why their children don't feel comfortable coming to them with problems or things that are going on in their life, because you haven't created a safe space. I did an episode on emotional safety, and I literally said in that episode, South Asian kids do not have emotional safety from their parents. We don't. That's not the kind of atmosphere that our older generation has created for us. I didn't have emotional safety growing up. I didn't. So at some point, these people have to ask themselves, why is this happening? What am I doing? Can I fix this? You have to ask these questions to try to solve your own problems. And this is where go back to how I started this episode talking about my daughter and how I apologize to her so that she knows that I don't always have the answers, that mommy is not always right. Because at some point, I want her to be an independent thinker, and I want her to be able to solve her own problems. If something's not working out in her favor, she needs to be able to say, what can I do? Is there anything else I can do to try to solve this problem? Versus blaming Tom, Dick, and Harry, which is what the older generation and this person in particular does, you know? They like to blame everybody else and they never look within. Whereas me, I always look within before I look without. Always. Because that's just who I am. However, it's just not what the older generation does, and it makes it difficult. And I don't know. I'm sorry, this may be more of like a ranting episode. But it's not a rant, really. I'm just trying to figure out how to solve, I guess I know how to solve the problem, and I don't know if it would really be solved, but I'm just trying to work out, you know, this mindset and how to get over it and how to help people. Now, with this particular family member, to me, I'm like, it is what it is. Now, if it was, you know, if it was like someone from my immediate family, then yeah, I would be more invested in it and I would feel strongly about it. I'd probably start an argument over it. Because I want people to be better. Like, if you see me doing something, I want you to make me be better. So, yeah, I don't know. Sometimes never mind. Sometimes I feel like the moral police, but I don't know what's wrong with that. I don't know. I just feel sorry for some of those people who then these sorts of incidents affect their self-esteem. You don't know what anybody's dealing with. And that's another thing, okay? You don't know what anybody's dealing with. I'm literally sitting there listening to this person spew all their stuff at me. And I'm like, gosh, I wonder what's going on in their life. At the same time, I'm like, I don't have time for your problems. I have my own problems. Don't drop your shit off at my doorstep. Like, everybody has their own shit that they're working through. They don't need you to add to their shit. Like, they really don't. They don't need you to you don't know if people are going through depression. You don't know if people they have anxiety. You don't know if people are sick and maybe not saying anything. You don't know what somebody's state of mind is. How dare you? It's not cool. It's just not cool. And I felt bad for, like I say, my other cousin who has talked to me about this different incident that happened with her a couple times now. And, you know, part of me was kind of like, okay, I get it, I understand, like, and that's how it is. And then I'm like sitting there and I'm like, you don't know what she's going through. Why would you say that to her? Like, everybody's going through their own shit. You don't need to add on. Just be kind. Be a nice person. Be respectful. The fact that I have to say these things in an episode, I'm sad about it a little bit. Like, the fact that you have to remind people about the golden rule and just to be kind. Like, who the fuck are you? You don't pay anybody's bills. You don't put a roof over anybody's head. Keep your opinions to yourself. Unless you're genuinely trying to help, keep your opinions to yourself. Sorry. I don't know. Have any of you experienced these sort of toxic mentalities, whether you're South Asian or not? I know the Latino culture also has some toxic mentalities as well. Let me know what you think. Let me know if this episode resonated with you. If you've gone through some sort of situation with a family member and you're like, I don't know what to do. I don't know how to navigate it. Let me know. Do you think I handled that well? Do you think I could have done better? Do you think I handled it wrong? Flat out wrong? I don't know. I guess I don't look at it. I was most upset about my time that I wasted. I don't have time to waste in a negative situation. So I try really hard to keep myself out of negative situations so I don't end up feeling like I wasted my time. And that's really what I have been most upset about, is what I feel like is wasted time. I don't know. That's all I've got for you guys today a little bit about time and toxicity and how they affected my life over the last week. Alright, you guys, if you haven't done so already, please like me on Facebook, follow me on Instagram, TikTok, like, follow, and subscribe to the YouTube channel, please. Catch me on Ruckus Avenue Radio and make sure that you are tuning in on your listening platform of choice. Whatever you do, you guys, whether you have somebody breathing down your neck with unrealistic expectations, toxic mindsets, stay authentic to who you are. Build your character, stick to your guns, do what you feel is right, and I will see you next time.